In the law and promised by the famous Neville Goddard, there is a particular success story that was made famous through time. And this story is the story of a woman 55 years of age who found herself in dire straits. She had no money, no jobs, no car, no nothing. She was basically distraught, impoverished, and she had no family to fall back upon for support. She did go to Neville Goddard lectures, so she was familiar with the teachings of the law of attraction and the power of the mind, etc., etc. However, being in her position, she needed more than just one manifestation for her to get her life back on track. And because she was familiar with the teachings of Neville Goddard, she used the imagination, the I am, the consciousness to create all those desires. However, because the desires she had were plural and were many, she would be exhausted by the time she had gone through her whole imaginal acts. She would imagine each and every one of the desires until she was drained and exhausted. And she just couldn't do it anymore. However, she went to one particular lecture by Neville Goddard and she heard an advice that Neville Goddard gave to an artist, or this particular artist, and he said that if you want plural desires and you are in kind of a rush to get those many desires, and if you cannot just focus on one or two desires, and you need to accomplish and manifest those desires because this is the situation you are in, there is a particular method, which is mastering the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Now, we always want to have the feeling of the wish fulfilled as much as we possibly can. This is a shortcut. What Neville Goddard told this particular artist and what this woman started applying to his life is the isn't it wonderful technique. For those of you who are familiar with Neville Goddard, you probably heard about this technique often already. For those of you who don't know, let me get into it. The isn't it wonderful technique that was used by this woman is to capture the feeling of the wish fulfilled. She would, prior to sleep, while she's falling asleep, repeat to herself constantly and consistently every night, isn't it wonderful, something marvelous is happening to me right now. She would keep on repeating, isn't it wonderful, something marvelous is happening to me. Isn't it wonderful, something marvelous is happening to me. Something wonderful is happening to me. Something amazing, something great, something awesome is happening to me now. I mean, those are the words I'm using right now, but the right words you would use, and you can change the words for however you like them, however they make you feel. She would repeat, isn't it wonderful, something marvelous is happening to me now. Isn't it wonderful, something marvelous is happening to me now. Isn't it wonderful, something marvelous is happening to me now, etc., etc. She would keep on doing it, and she did this every night, over and over, and she would fall asleep in the feeling of the wish fulfilled because her mind, her body will have this emotion of, yes, it is wonderful, something marvelous is happening to her now, which is a great, great, great feeling. The feeling would be encaptured and she would fall asleep in this particular feeling. And she did this for a while. She did this for 2 months. And after some time, what happened is she randomly met one of her acquaintance, a friend on the street. And this particular friend happened to need to go to a trip to New York. And on this trip to New York, she met this man who was also a friend with this woman. And after a while, he came back from New York. She was still repeating, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Every night. And she received a check for $2,500 from this man from New York. Not the man who went to New York. The friend who happened to make a mutual acquaintance of them or theirs in New York. What she didn't know is that this man in New York, their mutual acquaintance, had become extremely wealthy. And he gave her a check for $2,500 out of nowhere. Not only that, she was already amazed that this check had a name on it. What happened after is that this New York wealthy man, New York wealthy friend, talked to the woman through his lawyer, and this lawyer made her sign paper that she were to receive for the rest of her life a monthly check that not only allowed her to survive, but she had more than enough for her lodgings, for her clothes, for her car, etc., etc. And she did not need to do anything else. And that happened about 2 months after she had started doing this method. But she did this for 2 months, every night consistently, while she was falling asleep. And that's what we call the lullaby method. And the lullaby method is very straightforward, very simple. It's in capturing the feeling, the warmth, the emotion, the positive feeling of isn't it wonderful, something is happening, something marvelous is happening to me now. And the words don't matter so much. The words are just a vehicle to get the emotion. That's why it's important for you, if you want to practice this method, to use the words that make you feel better. Neville Goddard also talks about saying thank you, 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 thank you. And you can say thank you. Joseph Murphy talks about thank you for thy riches, thank you for thy riches, thank you, Father, for thy riches. Whatever. That's why gratitude is so good. Gratitude is very much related to this lullaby method, because the gratitude brings about those feelings. It raises your vibration, and while you fall asleep, the subconscious mind takes over and the conscious mind is put aside. So there's less barrier. So when you fall asleep and when you use the lullaby method, the conscious mind is being taken over by the subconscious mind. And when you encompass the feeling, you fall asleep with this emotion. And the lullaby method takes over the conscious mind into the subconscious mind. And whatever emotions you have left when you fall asleep, when you drift into sleep, carries on throughout the night with the subconscious mind until the next day. And if you do it every day, your subconscious mind is impressed by the feeling of isn't it wonderful, something marvelous is happening to me right now. The emotion is taken over, your subconscious mind is impressed, and wonderful things the world will bring about the wonderful things that you want, and more probably. Things unexpected, but all good, because you are falling asleep every night and you have impressed the subconscious mind enough for you to receive what you felt inside. The mood you have while you fall asleep is what will let beautiful things unfold to your life. And that is the lullaby method, as simple as get. Choose the right words, do it consistently while you fall asleep, and try as much as possible you can without forcing. Never force anything with the subconscious mind. As Joseph Murphy said, you cannot coerce the subconscious mind. So relax when you fall asleep. Before you fall asleep, just lull yourself with the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Regardless of what words you use, choose the words that are right for you, the words that bring about the most positive emotion possible, and fall asleep in this. And that's all for the lullaby method. If you didn't know, now you know. And if you want to know more, check the links in the description box below. Check my books. If you want some coaching, let me know. And thank you so much for subscribing, liking, commenting. And while you're commenting, please comment things that will be helpful for me to do better videos for you and answer your questions, obviously. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.